beginning of art, or humanity in general, we've used line. So we're going to have to go to a place very different from here to see where it started. And then we're going to fast forward a lot and see where we ended up. We've always used lines. Artists always will use lines. And so let's start at the beginning and take a look at what that looks like. Follow me, we're going to go on a little trip. Here we are in a cave. I'm spelunking. What does that word mean? Spelunking is a big word for exploring a cave. Why are we in a cave? Well, it's kind of where art began. Here I am in this cave in France, in Lascaux. This cave was discovered in 1940 by 4 kids and their dogs. They were exploring and they found this cave. Then millions and millions of people from all over the world came to these caves, but because they were breathing, moving around, touching, the cave started to deteriorate or fall apart. So you could no longer go into these caves, but they made exact replicas or things that look exactly the same that you can go into and experience. We're going to take a virtual tour a little bit later so we can poke around these caves. But why did I bring you to a cave in France? Well, it's because it's where line begins. We're talking a lot about lines, and that's where line starts. 65,000 years ago, people were trying to communicate using lines. Why were they trying to communicate, and why did they start with lines? I wonder. What were they drawing? They were using lines to draw things like animals, people. Animals probably they saw during the prehistoric times, during the Ice Age. They wanted to communicate to the people around them about those animals. Or maybe it was about the hunt. The hunt was an experience that they wanted to talk about. And we know in art, we use our lines to talk about an experience. Let's move forward many, many, many years in history and see if we're still using lines the same way. So let's get out of this cave and get to New York City. Fast forward thousands and thousands of years, and here we are in a New York subway. I love going to New York, and I love using the subway system. It's very different than a cave, but there was an artist named Keith Haring who was doing something very similar to what they were doing in those caves in Lascaux. He was using line, one of our elements of art, to create people and animals and to tell somebody a story. He used chalk. In the cave, they used rocks. But if we look at a cave drawing and we look at one of Keith Haring's drawings, there are some similarities. Because both artists 65,000 years ago and in the 1980s were using line, we're going to look in our next couple videos about the different kinds of lines that artists use. I can't wait to get started, so let's get moving. This is a virtual tour of the Lascaux Caves in France. Guerin Barouge posted this video, and I put the link there for you if you want to wander through the caves digitally. You can see that the artists are using all different kinds of lines to communicate about animals. I wonder what else we can be doing with lines.